The Chess Today show is live. We are back. It's been too long. Thanks for waiting it out, everybody, as I went off to apparently become confused about my life and grow out a beard that reflects my current state of existence. But the World Cup is in full swing. We have big names exiting the field. We have amazing moves. We're going to look at the move of the day by Magnus Carlsen and the blunder of the day by Cheparinov against Navara, something we're trying to prepare every time we come out with a news report about the World Cup. But before we show you Magnus Carlsen's brilliant move and idea from the day and Cheparinov's blunder, of course, you know the drill. It's the Chess Today show. We start with the daily puzzle. So let's jump in. What do we got here? We've got the daily puzzle. Instantly, we see the king on h7. We have a mate in 3. Rook check, king h8, rook g8 is a double check, double, if you speak broken language. And then queen to h8. So I'm going to guess that this must be the move. The Shakmat. Welcome, chess.comrades. Now I check on the chat, and we see how it goes. All right, we got 100 of you here. The show is now live again. First time we've done the Chess Today show for a couple weeks. Working on getting this thing to be a little more regular. I got to get some other guest hosts lined up so that this thing can happen even when yours truly is out of the office traveling for whatever that might mean. Michael Bublé, that's a great one from Tone Deaf 1982. I think Michael Bublé is a little underrated. I don't know. I mean, I'm not into all the cheesy, kind of whatever, but I feel like Bublé he hits the spot sometimes. I hear a Bublé song and I get those warm and fuzzies, you know what I'm saying? We all try to deny we have them, but I hit them warm and fuzzy sometimes. Tone Deaf, you like the beard, huh? Thanks for that. Thanks for being here on Twitch. Let's check out the Chess TV chat. Let everybody know I'm here. Remember, this is a Q&A interactive podcast, webcast style show. You have questions. I don't have answers, but that's never prevented anybody from asking questions. So ask away if you want. Tons of people here. John HS, always here. Lee is in the chat. Diamond member. NJ Greg, what's up, man? Snowpawn, hey Daniel, can you shout me out? Snowpawn68, there it is. There's your shout out. Pen and paper 0089. You're getting too strong, Danny. Cut it out. I don't know what that means. Just kidding, right? I'm wearing a casual shirt today. This is a shirt from Thailand. It's a Thai beer. It's so comfortable. The fact that it's completely become like a white trash kind of shirt doesn't prevent me from wearing it because it's so light and fluffy on my skin. So that's why I continue to wear it. I'm a selfish guy when it comes to how clothing feels. If it's close to my body, it has to be good, right? If it's close to my body, it has to be good. But I'll tell you what else has to be good. That is the move of the day from the World Cup today. So for those of you who aren't following the World Cup, then you wouldn't know that Alexei Dreev and Magnus Carlsen have both moved on to the second round. That means that Dreev gets the ultimate prize of playing Magnus Carlsen. Yay, right? Always fun to play the strongest player on the planet when you've moved on in the World Cup. But this game here was really interesting. And what I want to show is, as we have it here on chess.com's analysis board, is there's a dynamic question on the board right now for black because you have this B pawn which is passed, but it's also slightly overextended, right? So for example, if you play a move like bishop to c4, we have this move rook to e1, and after b5, bishop to d1 is going to corral the pawn, which likely leads to a pretty equal rook ending, right? If the b pawn falls, black has the 2-on-1 majority on the queen side as well as the c file. But white has these really strong pawns in the center. So less than ideal would it be for the b3 pawn to fall if you want to win and you are Magnus Carlsen. And I love that this is Magnus chess because I love that he's always been a proponent of the World Cup knockout format being what should ultimately decide the world title, which takes guts given that when you're on top of the chess world, you have the most to lose in a knockout format, right? So, but Magnus loves it. I think it brings out the best in him. And one of the things that we talked about in his match with Karyakin is how often he didn't play for a win as black, when maybe he could have in some moments, which we know that's Magnus's style. And in this game, he does play for a win with the move rook f to d8, which is weird because it just straight up hangs the b7 pawn, but it's played with the sole purpose of preventing d5. Okay, so if d5 were played now, what we'd get is a transition into a rook ending where white is no longer just getting an easy draw, right? You've got weaknesses all over the board, and I think black is going to grind this one home, and Dreev, being the Russian schoolboy that he is, sort of agreed. So I can't play d5 anymore if I'm Dreev. to go get the b pawn, which means I have to take b7. But now after rook c3, d5 wouldn't even go get this pawn anymore anyway. Rook c3 has officially confirmed that white is not going to be able to win that b pawn. And with no more bishop d1 ideas coming, it's one of those things where Magnus just really balanced the evaluation of knowing that the b pawn in the endgame is not going to be how many pawns he has left, but who gets a lady first. And if black gets a lady first, black wins. So after rook c3, Dreev still tries to transition into the rook ending, but Magnus Carlsen not interested. Brings the bishop around to d7 so that he can support this idea of getting a4. That's the reason the bishop is there. And eventually, he is able to gobble up the extra pawn there. He's basically in the similar rook ending we talked about with all kinds of weaknesses, but he still hasn't even lost the b pawn. This isn't like the most high flashy queen sacrifice move of the day. This was a very educational one with him really balancing the right evaluation of how strong the b pawn is. Now he forces rook to d1, but we can already see if you're playing moves like that, the end is near. Black starts activating the rooks, pawns start falling. And here Dreev just resigned. Premature? I don't think so, because there's all kinds of checks coming. Probably black will find a way to gobble up 1.5 million pawns, and whether you lose the b pawn now, it will become less relevant. So anyway, back to this move here. Rook f to d8. Really interesting stuff. 2 exclams is a little bit over-exaggerated. The team who helps me put these together, by the way, Peter Dockers needs a shout-out, and, of course, Grandmaster Dejan Boykov, who analyzes the game of the day every day in the news report. So if you are not checking out the news reports, let's remind you of how you can do that. I mean, there are news reports every day on the homepage, so just the last one. There'll be one coming out soon. But, there's news reports every day. Peter Dockers bringing you the full update. He is on site in Tbilisi, as we have our A team there. But we also have Game of the Day analysis, always by Dejan Boykov. And I think in the Rapid, maybe we skipped that, but in the main one we did. So you can check that out. So that was the move of the day. I want to show the blunder of the day real quick, and then we're going to dive into what makes today's Chess Today show special, which is I plan on kind of revealing, for those of you who haven't been following some chess.com beta stuff coming out as closely as maybe some others, revealing one of our cool new variants and playing a little bit with the fans here. So I'm really excited. But the blunder of the day came to us in this position here because Cheparinov against David Navara. Now, David Navara is a super talented kid. We know him because he just beat Kasparov in this Garry Kasparov blunder heard around the world, featured on Chess Center, when Kasparov made 1.5 million facial expressions that nobody cared to see. Just kidding, Gary. Glad you were back. Hashtag Return of the King. Hashtag whatever. Now, David Navara is really, really famous and very, very strong. But in this game, he really launched an attack that didn't really have any business being successful against Cheparinov. Cheparinov, though, rather than playing the most logical move after the reckless sack of g5 and just taking the pawn, okay, if you do the math here, he's giving back the piece on d1 potentially, but taking it would let black play moves like rook f8 and the initiative switches. And if white continues to go all in, h6, queen takes, rook takes. Okay, so basically this position is equal and likely, black is going to be fine here. It's not as good for black as maybe it would have been without h6 because of rook f8, but something to stop the attack was exactly what black needed to do. Instead, he played the move bishop to a4, and after rook to e7, the attack basically got out of control. The main thing he had calculated was that bishop takes f2 was going to allow a flip of the script. The queen can't take because the rook hangs, and the king couldn't take because the queen would come in. So this is what Cheparinov calculated. What he missed is the move that David Navara played, which is the subtle king h1, and all of a sudden black is completely lost because there's no real way to deal with the checkmate threats that are coming. So king h1 was played, and I'm pretty sure Cheparinov resigned, but even if he had played rook g8, we'll show you the line after bishop h4, bishop e5, g7 is falling, Olympus has fallen, and the game is over. This would have been a real sassy way to end the game right there, right? Let's see that a couple more times. Right? Love that. So this is an example of where this is a very common thing that happens when you're calculating forced lines. It's very difficult to see a subtle move like that in the middle of a variation when you're already nervous. But this is what happened after bishop a4. He just completely missed. The bishop takes f2 was met by king h1. Anyway, so that was the blunder, bishop a4, when he should have just gobbled the pawn. So not super flashy. This isn't Chess Center. There's a reason Chess Center happens once a month. We have more time to gather the move and the blunders, and we really get to wow you with queen sacks and stuff. But this was just from the World Cup today, and it was fun. But now I want to dive in to what we're going to do right here, which is we're going to go play some 4-player chess. So first I want to ask the chat, Have any of you in the chat played 4-player chess yet? That's the first thing I want to know. Danny, can I take your job? My name is Daniel, but my grandma calls me Danny. That's the only criteria to have my job is the name Danny. So yes, I have been looking for a replacement. Go ahead and send me your resume. Send me a message with your resume, and that would be greatly appreciated. So some people have actually played for a little while, a few hours. Okay, cool. D4 says he's never played, but he thinks he would hate it. Possibly. I'm not sure how much I like it, because at this point I haven't even been able to win against some much weaker chess players in our staff games, because it's such a wild and crazy game. But I wanted to share it with you guys because it's an original variant, right? It's not something like developing Bug House or Crazy House and games people know. It's an original variant that doesn't exist anywhere else online, so it's kind of a cool thing to show. So I'm going to dive into playing, and anybody who wants to head over, okay, I'm going to copy the link, and we are going to go play ourselves some 4-player chess right now. So when you first go to the page, it breaks down the rules very simply. The idea is that you are competing for points, not necessarily checkmate, because checkmating one player doesn't necessarily eliminate the others, right? So it's an open board, open casket, if you will, for all the dead pieces you can have. It allows you to maybe take a few more gambles if you can get a lot of points, because you can still win even if you've been eliminated, which is a lot of fun. Now, there are, of course, extra points for checkmating. There are extra points for sort of being the reason somebody resigned, right, if you played a move that made them resign. But otherwise, it's all about points. It's like that game you played as a kid when you learned chess and you didn't know that checkmate was the game, and all you cared about were the pieces you were taking on the side of the board. So that's kind of the fun thing. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and play now. There's a lot more games going on than there used to be, guys. 4-player chess is becoming more popular. I don't really know what to do besides I'm just going to play now and let it pair me with some people. So if anybody wants to head over to the 4-player chess room, you can do it. Well, here we go. A game has started. So right now, Abi 54666 is on the clock. Daniel Rensch in blue moves second. We got Chiuming Bird, and we got John HS. I'm going to try to play a couple games at the 4-minute time control. This is still in beta, so you're going to play, and you may have a ton of requests. You may say things like, I want to be able to customize the time control. Okay, so he opens up the bishop on this diagonal. This seems to be the kind of typical thing that people do, and it also kind of prevents my queen. If I want to open up my queen, I have to let him be able to take. So I'm going to start with my queen pawn and block his bishop pawn. I have a very defensive-mindedness now when I play 4-player chess, because again, I've been hanging out in the 4Chess Player Slack room. All the guys that are developing this are awesome. John is our kind of a head guy on it. He gets most of the credit. Eric, this is Eric's baby right now. Eric is a CEO, but we all know he's just a glorified Lego builder and wants to do product all day. So this is a ton of fun. So, all right, so I have the bishop on this diagonal, but it's super tricky and not a lot of time, because you make blunders when you're not aware of the different diagonals that can hurt you. So I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I didn't do this in the last game. I'm actually going to develop a piece. And I wonder if this is how my brain works, that I'm always focused on the red. Like, my brain is like, red, right? No, like, it's to the right of me. I don't know if you're always blue on your side. I don't think so. I think it's not the red. I'm always focused on the piece set that's right to the right of me for some reason. That's the one that's always making me the most nervous. So now I'm going to play c5. I like this move because it controls the square from the knight and opens up my queen. So this knight has limited mobility and coming toward me. That's going to be my strategery, as the George W. would say. Strategification, like global warmification. All right. Okay, so I've never had a game that everyone was taking so seriously. If anyone wants to go try out the 4-player chess, I see some people asking, what can I do this and what in the world is this? Let me give you some links here. Giving you a link on Twitch, giving you a link on chess.com TV. So this is fun. This is a little bit against but we've had a balance here. We had some serious X's and O's going over some instructive theory and games from the World Cup. And now we're bouncing into some real fun here with the 4-player chess. I'm going to keep developing. Keep developing. Just keep swimming. Okay, he opened up his bishop now. So should I take it? I probably should. Either that or I should get my queen out. Maybe I'll get the queen out. Let's get the queen out. If he wants it, I wish I could pre-move. So pre-move is a feature we're probably going to select. But this is like its own interface. It's like built from scratch, right? So it doesn't have a lot of the stuff yet that you normally, when you start moving pieces on the board in an online setting, you're like, I need to pre-move. It's like a drug, right? All right, so the biggest issue right now is John HS is way up on time. So he understands that's a practical game, and he said he's played this game a few times. Apparently not John HS's first rodeo from what we're seeing from John in the Chess TV chat. Okay, so he puts his bishop on this diagonal. Makes sense. Okay, he wants to bring the knight in. I guess I'll trade. So I get +5, which is cool, right? +5. I like my point. So he gets +5, but he avoids the queen trade. So the issue with this game now you see is like I took, okay, but it didn't stop him from playing the move he could have, which was knight a5, which was the move I was worried about. What's interesting is like you do one thing to another person and it doesn't stop the guy from like destroying your face, right? So it's very, you know, I wonder as 4-player chess theory develops, I want to be on the cutting edge of that because it's like he could have played knight a5. I don't know if that is a5. That's my brain from Black's perspective working at a5. But what is that square, right? Maybe one thing we need is notation so we can develop theory. Yeah, the reason why you track the past is to prepare yourself for the future. There's no other reason to ever dive and no longer live in the present. # you're welcome for the philosophy. But seriously, I mean, we review the past if it can provide lessons for us to do better in the future. Otherwise, there's never really that good of a point for reviewing our mistakes, right? I mean, we're just not living in the moment. But in chess, theory developed as soon as notation was a thing, right? Because when you have notation, you can now look back and learn from your mistakes. And so we need notation, I think, for the theory of this game to go to the next level. I need to get my king out of the center. He's going to capture on b5. Okay, I have my rook open now. And Red got his king out. So me and Red are like real faced at each other dynamically. I feel like John HS is leaving me hanging over here. John's leaving me hanging, bro. Why don't you start doing some attacks to Red? I feel like if Red was under fire, they wouldn't be just attacking me over here. All right, I don't know. I'm not very good at this game yet. Should I fianchetto? Oh, fianchetto. I'm trying to see the whole board here. Fianchetto, welcome chess.com, comrades, to 4-player chess. Right now, Comrade Stalin is rolling over in his grave for this blasphemy to the game of kings. Хорошо. Okay. So he just took g7. Look at that. Look at Red just flipped the script on John HS over there. John HS, that's your karma, bro, because you were not playing aggressive against Red. You should have gone after Red instead of leaving me hanging. Sorry, John HS, you didn't deserve that. I'm being getting in a weird way. I don't know what's going on here. It's lost a rook here. All right, I'm gonna castle next. If I get my king out of the center, nice that John HS and Abi 5466. I've kind of pinned them against each other, right? So so now I'm gonna Rekharovka as soon as Abi decides how he wants to handle this. I've got this bishop on this diagonal here, so let's get castled. I think that's safe. There's no rooks coming at me. You know, you really have a lot of points to gain if you can stay on the board later because there's more pieces to take with less, well, you know, with less people surviving, right? So, you know, you can see right now yellow is in the lead with 11 points. Yellow is in the lead with 11 points, and this is a scary one, da? Okay. I have this idea here where I swing across the board. No, I cannot provide the pin. I am focused too much on red. Maybe I should flip the script and go after yellow over here. Look at that idea. Because then I have the queen facing that direction. I have the queen facing that direction. Right now I'm ganging up on the proverbial b2 pawn, if that's even a thing. The assumed b2 pawn. Because I consider a1 here. a1, b1, c1, d1, e1, g1, h1. Wait, g1, h1, I1, J1, K1. Does that work? Maybe that's how we do it. We just start from the left and move over as far as notation goes. Yeah, it's possibly a good idea. Okay. All right, so I'm actually really happy about that because green just helped me out. But should I go for the check or should I take here? I'm not actually sure what I should do. I'm gonna leave. No, it's probably my overthinking of red, focused on the right side of the board too much. This is a problem. I'm self-diagnosing myself with a right side of the board biased in 4-player chess. I am officially diagnosed. So I'm gonna go take this pawn with check instead. Okay, so now I have to take there next. So I'm hoping nobody does something that messes me up. Because here's the problem now, right? What if black plays bishop takes here? What if red plays bishop takes c6, right? So you see the issue is like maybe rook takes pawn was better. I think often the strategy is doing something that is the least likely, or sorry, doing something that the next move you are most likely to be able to follow up with that idea. So you have to be thinking about the other attacks coming, because certainly my queen would have been more valuable than taking back on e7. Or taking back the bishop. You see what I'm saying? So it's a mind trip. This whole thing is like, you know what it is. It's like a bad experience you once had back in high school that you never told your parents about. That's exactly what this game is like. 4-player chess, that bad experience you had in high school that you never told your parents about. Okay, full board awareness. Zen, I can take it there, but he takes with the knight. I have no follow-up. I'm just going to back that thing up, which is going to let the rook take over here. So I'm kind of pinning yellow against red right now, trying to put myself in a position where I can play a move safely. Like if anybody, what I mean is you want to put yourself in a position that if anybody took your pieces, you could take back. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't want to be overcommitted where then if like red or blue or green does something to you, you've already overcommitted against your attack against yellow. So you have to be careful about that. This is my game theory. There is no theory on this. It's all being developed as we speak. I have to play faster, though. John HS has way too much time for my liking. It's time for us to go after John HS. John HS is playing way too fast. Okay, he didn't defend this pawn. That's just what he couldn't anyway. His rook was hanging and that was hanging. So can I take there? Where are they doing from me? I don't know. They're focused on each other. Let me go get this guy. Always look at the full board diagonals. I've got the rook here. I'd like to get my other knight in. Suddenly, I've gone against my right side of the board bias, and I'm attacking the left side of the board, right? In a good way. In a real, real good way. Okay. Okay. My queen is under attack. I'm going to give check, mainly because it gains some points. And then I'm going to back up my queen next move. And this game, checks are for potzers. I mean, checks are not for potzers in this game. Because every check, you gain some points. Pieces and checks basically gain you points. And if you can be the last man standing and get some checkmates, then you're really in a Dora the Explorer episode. Delicioso. Okay, now he's in real trouble. So can I, if I take here, what happens if I take here? I'm going to try it. I actually don't even know. What happens if we put yellow in check like twice? Right? Isn't he in deep, deep doo-doo? He's not allowed to take my queen and give up his king, is he? Is he? Can someone answer that in chat? I don't think he was. So suddenly yellow is on the run. I don't think he was allowed to take my queen and let himself be taken by the king, but I'm curious, actually. I need to go check Chess TV chat. No, he's not. Okay, so that's great. So that was a great move by me. Okay, cool. All right, so now he takes there, which means he's not in check, but I'm going to lose my queen if I trade. The queen is just such a monster in this game, right? The queen is such a monster. So I wonder if I should just let him be or if I should trade. I don't know the game theory. If I trade, he can take now. And then I'm basically letting black run free with it. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to move my queen to a safe square and not help out my enemies that are now... The clear enemies are becoming John HS and Abi5466, because I think that Chumingbird is running up against it here. Oh, John HS checkmated him. So now, notice once he's checkmated, all his pieces are gray. So the cool thing about that... Wait, didn't I help checkmate him too? I had the queen guarding that. Oh, but he gets the points, yo. That's amazing. All right, but at least he can't take my queen anymore because his pieces are gray. So that's nice. Don't you still get points for gobbling up gray pieces? I think you do. I think you do. I don't remember. I think you get points for gobbling up pieces that have been eliminated. Maybe not as much points. We should think about that. We should think about how that works. I don't know. It's interesting how I helped checkmate, but I didn't get any bonus points. That would be something to consider. Anybody who has pieces helping the checkmate, like helping to trap the person, gets like a +5 or something. Right? Not. I know that sounds biased toward myself right now, but I mean, I think it's an interesting thing to consider. I have to move fast now. Have to move fast and gain some time back on the clock. This is craziness. Craziness. He's taking my pieces. I gained some time back. Ooh, and red just lost his queen. Red is in trouble unless... Boom. I don't think he saw that I had checkmate coming, but now it's me and John HS, and John HS has done well. So there's no reason to take these pieces. That's correct. It seems people are saying you can't take gray pieces. So, wait, I can? But I didn't get any points for that. So you can take gray pieces, but you don't get any points. Okay, interesting. Okay. Interesting stuff. Oh, I want to cross the board there, and I can't. It's just me and John HS left now? This is trippy. Seriously trippy. This could be the best game I've played, though. The best 4-player chess game I've played. Assuming I can keep that up. Only 20 seconds left, but he's on the run. I don't need to worry about the gray. I keep getting tripped out by that. I don't need to worry about the gray, just the green now. Okay. I think I'm going to get him. Don't know where that came from. But you know what? There is plenty more where that came from, baby. That's checkmate. Oh, no, he's got king there. Okay. I was like, what? This is a weird little mating net with like a weird thing going on here. That's checkmate, right? How is that not checkmate? Oh, okay, he runs there. I'm getting so tripped out by the other pieces. Okay, they're basically dead squares. Okay. Wow, that was awesome! That was freaking awesome, guys. Seriously. How fun was that? Okay, interesting stuff. I'm really enjoying 4-player chess, and I hope you will too. Give it a try. Leaving some links in the chat. For those of you who are our Spanish-speaking audience, if you refresh Chess TV, then you would actually get that right now. But what we have here is the Chess Today show, checking out the chat here still in Twitch. Maybe here we can beat the engine. You know what? That's the reason human beings continue to invent new variants, so that we can have, inspiration again to beat the engines. I don't think you can go through gray pieces. I think they're just dead squares. But these are all really good questions. I encourage you to go there and try it out. There seems to be a pretty decent amount. There's 107 people playing online right now. And this isn't even live yet. Like, this is something that only people that happen to like see the announcement. Like, we're not, this isn't in our main navigation. You can't find this on chess.com anywhere. So you just got to go to the link I gave you, chess.com/4-player-chess, and give it a try. I'm not developing this game and all the debates that we've had about all the rules in the scoring system. I honestly can't even keep track of what's going on in the Slack channel right now. So I wasn't even sure on the scoring system. But I think that it would be cool if the person who helped the checkmate gets bonus points. If maybe we don't like that, maybe we like that the person who helps, because maybe that's more motivation not to help the checkmate, right? If we could back up this game, remember that moment where I helped checkmate, but I didn't get anything for it, right? Maybe that's motivation to not checkmate somebody, because then you help the other person who actually delivers the final blow. On the game theory side of things, I don't know, but I thought that was interesting. Maybe I should have got some bonus points. The other thing I thought that was interesting is the gray piece clarification. Yeah, I guess we should know if you can go through them or not. I think no. I think they are pieces that must be taken, but they're dead squares. They are not able to do anything. Otherwise, I didn't really have any complaints about that. I felt like I feel like I understood as I was playing. Like I didn't feel like there was anything like that didn't make sense in terms of game theory. I would love notation. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. So all the way to the end file. I think if we added notation and we could track moves, that would be interesting. Maybe the way you do it is before everyone's move, you add the color that they are. So like this last move would be a capital B for blue, capital R to A4, right? Because then if you specify the color of the piece, then you always know. It would be capital R for red, and then another capital R for rook, and then, N3. Right? I think we could develop notation, because the sooner we get notation, the sooner we actually have some even more interesting stuff in terms of the show format, right? Because then we can do things like this and kind of back up and take a look at it, and we can actually track our progress and learn from things. So, anyway, So this was a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy it. It will be live, I think, to everybody within a few weeks. It's still in beta. Thanks for joining me on the Chess Today show. First time back. We solved the daily puzzle. We took a look at Magnus Carlsen's brilliant move. We took a look at the blunder that was Bishop A4, played and talked a little 4-player chess. So appreciate it, everybody, and don't see any outstanding questions waiting for me in the chat room. So. Oh, John HS says you can go through dead pieces because he did. Okay, maybe you can. Again, I don't know. Again, I don't even know all the rules yet because there's a whole team of people. We're trying to make this the coolest, most original game we've ever had on chess.com. So I'm not even up to date on all the rules because I can't do it, can't follow it. You know, bad things happen when Danny hangs out in Slack rooms for too long. So anyway, thanks everybody. Appreciate it. Tune into Luis's show. Even if you don't speak Spanish, he's probably the most entertaining person on the planet. I don't think that's an exaggeration. And I'll see everybody later. Peace out.